I am so happy to announce that CameronSaaiman.com, our website, is now up and running. So make sure to go to the website and subscribe to our newsletter to stand a chance to win a limited edition MSP cap. We'll also be doing monthly giveaways such as limited edition fight posters, fight kits, cash prizes, and also Pokerbet vouchers. So make sure to go to the website right now. Visit the link in our bio. My guest today is one of the best pound for pound best fighters on the planet. He is also the newly crowned UFC middleweight champion. And it's awesome to have him in studio once again. It's none other than Dricus Du Plessis.
Cameron Saaiman, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Saaiman taking care of business. Wow. That look says it all.
Before we get into this episode, I just want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Pokerbet.co.za, South Africa's leading sports betting and poker betting platform. So make sure to visit the link in our bio, create an account, and enjoy countless games and fun giveaways. So make sure to go follow them on social media as well. But thank you, Pokerbet, for another episode of the MSP Show. Enjoy. Okay, so honestly, my first question is have you thanked Israel Adesanya for manifesting all of this?
Yes, I have to, because he's been manifesting like a champ. The only thing he manifested is him not getting any pay-per-views. That's it.
Yeah. It's awesome to have you in studio. It's awesome for you to be back because you fucking did it. It's insane.
Did it. Finally.
We did it. It is really insane. The performance itself was amazing. Just walk us through I think it's a heightened feeling. I think we chatted about it off camera as well and briefly at the gym. The nerves before a fight it's always there.
Yeah.
You know, you have your systems in order to keep it under control. But I do think when Bruce Buffer, when the lights go dark, when it's time, you know, I think it hits another switch. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I remember standing in the cage and always I've envisioned this, visualized how it must feel to be there. And I've heard Bruce Buffer's voice a million times, just watching and, you know, being in the octagon myself. But he has never said the words, "It's time."
Yeah.
When he started saying "it's time," I just, talking about it, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I was standing and I think I was screaming with him because it was all these years, that's what you imagine, just having him saying it's time for the main event and you are that main event for the middleweight world title. And obviously the nerves hit different when you're fighting for a world title, but for this fight, I had this calmness over me knowing that I did everything possible. I felt so calm. Of course, there was nerves, a lot of them, but the nerves went, in my mind, there was no losing possible.
Yeah.
And I felt so prepared. I felt like every single stone that we could have turned, we turned. Everything we needed to take care of was taken care of, even though we went in injured, even though there were some niggles during the camp, big ones, from the previous fight camp. It didn't bother me. I just knew I was going to be ready to do whatever it takes. And, you know, as far as injuries go, I knew in that fight that would have made the victory sweeter.
Yeah.
So I felt so incredibly prepared that standing there, it was a lot more excitement than nerves or anxiety. Then sometimes you do feel that anxiety, but for this fight specifically, I felt calmer than ever.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think we also chatted about it because I think you've mentioned a few times as well. You like to fight at the beginning of December so that you can spend proper time taking a break and spending time with family that you don't always get to see while you are constantly in camp. And then once this opportunity arose, it was like, listen, no holiday.
That was crazy because we had a rough year. I mean, I had the Whitaker fight, I had the Brunson fight, and literally in the middle of December, I had the Darren Till fight. So essentially in 13 months, I had 4 fights and it was all top 10 big fights.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of injuries that I had to deal with while training because, you know, if you're fighting on that time frame, that's one fight every 3 months.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of time to recover in terms of fixing an injury. You have to deal with that injury during a camp. Then you maybe have 2 weeks off, then you start training again and next camp. So you don't really get the proper time to recover and heal those injuries. They get manageable. But
Because it is crazy, because it became like a running joke. Like once it gets warm, it's not that sore.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Everything like as it warmed up, I said, okay, I can go.
Yeah,
It's
just
fine.
rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it all paid off because that was climbing the ladder. I had to take those chances. And of course, as you mentioned, I have this system in my head of always trying to fight at the last fight card of the year so I can have a proper off time and enjoy it. And you know, if I'm fighting in October and I'm not fighting again up until the end of the year, I'm struggling to shut down in December for the holidays because I feel ready to go again.
Yeah.
So that gives me a proper chance to say, cool, I have done my work. I hit the year off on a high note. I did my job. Now I can recover and now I can spend quality time with friends and family. So this time, like you said, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Everybody had to change holiday plans. I had to cancel mine. Team had to cancel theirs, coaches. So, I mean, kudos to our coach, Monafis, and our team at Team CIT.
Yeah.
Every single guy. Nobody even questioned it. Everybody said, cool, no holiday for us.
Yeah.
Now, I only spent 2 days at home for Christmas with my family, and then we were back to work.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it paid off, obviously.
It paid off.
you know?
It paid off. So it was really hard. It was hard to, you know, over the festive season. So for me, that is almost a reward for my year's hard work. And now we didn't have that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it was worth it because everybody had that community. So everybody understood. Everybody was there with me because we had a communal goal.
Yeah.
And that was incredible.
That's awesome. You know, going back to the fight, just walk us through round for round. After round one, we got to see you go back to your corner. Great shape, like really focused on. It's almost as if the bell went off. You were already focusing on your breathing, walking back, like almost slowing your heart rate down, sitting down. What was going through your mind after that first round?
So our game plan going into this fight specifically was, okay, they obviously think we are going to come out guns blazing, and for me to neutralize that jab of his, I need to take out the legs.
Yeah.
So our game plan for this fight was simple. First 2 rounds, we go at a pace where they think this is our pace. But I mean, I was so, like I said, prepared for this that from round 3, we're fighting almost at his pace. Yeah, cool. It's a high pace in terms of throwing volume, but he doesn't throw with power ever. He just walks forward. But one thing we did say, he's not allowed to come forward. And in the first round, maybe the first 2 rounds, that was a little bit hard because now we're both fresh and I am following the game plan, keeping it at 60%. But one thing we did say with this fight specifically was get a takedown each round, get a takedown. And to make sure, because especially in those first 2 rounds, it's when you're going strike for strike, it's always hard to, if it's not a completely dominant performance, when you're fighting a world champion, it's very rarely going to be, especially him being a striker and a boxing guy, it's very rarely going to be a trained smash, just smashing him in the first round with the strike. So using the kicks to gain on him, but his jab is really, really good. And we saw that in that first round. I just went to the corner. Obviously, game plan was perfect. I kicked the legs. I did eat a few jabs because in the beginning I thought it's not hard enough to stop me. It doesn't bother me. And I just kept walking into them. And then my eyes started closing up. And I realized, okay, that's probably not the smartest way to go. And that's obviously from the second round, the kicks started paying off. And that's when the jab started getting, he still jabbed me, but he didn't jab me every time. And he didn't jab me. And the one thing we did right from the first round was keeping him on the back foot. I think I had almost 23 minutes of forward pressure in that fight.
Yeah.
And so I went to the corner after the first round. And I sat down and I felt great. And I said, Coach, we definitely lost that round. I'm going to turn it up a little, just a little, because I knew we lost that round. And he said, perfect. Takedowns were there. Everything was good. So there wasn't really anything.
So you guys were on the same page.
We were on the
just
same
like
page.
a thing of like,
okay, just to do a little bit more.
Yeah, just crank it up a little bit. But
and then in the second round, that's exactly what we did. Kept on with the kicks. And obviously the body kicks were landing very good. And the head kicks were there too, because he's a hard guy with his awkward defense. His defense is brilliant.
Yeah.
So it was hard to catch
going
him.
into that super negative base as well.
So he goes into that negative base, and that allows him to just put the jab out there. The jab is not hard; it's just there the whole time. It's
disruptive.
It's just disruptive. So the kicks landed great. Even the head kicks, I landed a couple of those, and the low kicks started working. And then his jab started slowing down. He became slower. I started to read the timing on the jab, and I started landing the jabs of my own as well. Once again, getting the takedown, and I knew we got that second round. Then from the third round, that's where it became fun. Firstly, I was very happy that I felt after the second round like I haven't even done a round. And that third round, we started cranking up, started just going for it. And I could see in the middle of the third round, Sean Strickland, in his face, his facial expression, his body language, he went. I could see he was getting tired because here's a guy that's not used to fighting on his back foot.
Yeah.
He's used to forward pressure. He doesn't.
That's actually
punch his way.
what like that's a massive part of what won him his world title
Yes,
against
exactly.
Izzy, was that forward pressure. So I do think when you neutralize one of his biggest assets.
Yeah.
it-
That
it
was
can
the thing is neutralizing that asset and getting that leg to neutralize the other big asset he has, which is that jab.
Yeah.
So from the third round, I started gaining momentum. After the third round, I went to the corner and I was just smiling. And coach said to me, "Why are you not kicking the guy when I'm telling you to kick him? The kicks are working." And I said, "Oh, my foot's screwed."
Yeah.
He said, "Which one?" I said, "No, both."
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, because I had the muscle tear in the one and of course the fracture in the other one. And I said, "No, both." And I said, "It's fine. Don't worry. I'll kick him. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's broken already."
Just for context, was that in the fight?
That was in the fight. It was maybe at the end of the second round, I kicked into his knee.
And you could feel.
And you'll see in the fight, I stepped back and I almost had a wobble and I looked like I thought, why am I slipping?
yeah.
And I could feel my foot. And it was just a quick, I could feel it wasn't stable. But I mean, if it's broken already, you might as well just kick it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started kicking again, but my body it was really hurting. And of course, I kicked the elbow with the other shin, so it was hard, but it was okay. With that adrenaline, you're just good. But I went to the corner in the third, and I said, "Oh, this feels amazing." And coach said, "No, it's great. You're doing great. That's definitely your round. Why aren't you kicking him when I'm telling you? After your punch, just kick him." And I said, obviously with my feet being screwed, and I said, "No, but I'll kick him." But I did say, "We're going to a fourth round, finally, coach." And I started laughing. And I said, "Yeah, finally, we're going to a fourth round." He's in so much shit right now.
Yeah.
I just said to my coach, he is in so much shit. He doesn't want to be there anymore. I'm feeling great.
That's
in that fourth round going out, I felt, that's where I felt best. And
What
that
was-
fourth round, I even cranked up the pace more.
Yeah, because this is the first fourth round for you.
Yeah.
But it's also the first fourth round in a UFC title fight for Coach.
Yeah. That is the other thing.
How was his reaction? How was his wording?
The fourth round, he was kind of pissed going into the fourth because I didn't kick as much as he wanted me to. So he was kind of pissed. And I was just like happy because I didn't gas out. I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Finally, told you suckers, I can do it. I told you guys. And so that fourth round, I cranked it up because now I could see he was slowing down in that fourth. And then I obviously cut him with the big punch. He claims headbutt. I don't know what he's talking about. I remember the punch so clearly.
On that, the reaction after the fight, because you're talking about it now, because his fan base blew up insanely, and his fan base is just as crazy as he is.
Yeah.
What, just his type of feedback after the fight, what do you think of that? Like making that type of, not accusations, but saying, "No, listen, this is from a headbutt, not a punch." What was your first type of reaction when you saw all these claims?
Well, firstly, if we're going to go on that, he eye poked me in the fight. I think it was in the third, maybe. I'm not sure. It
Yeah,
was
and you
quite a
brushed
bad-
it off,
And
yeah.
I just went, shit. And I was in the zone of, I'm feeling great. To me, it looks like he's getting tired.
Yeah.
And I just said, "No, let's fight. And he bugged me in the eye. He didn't see me worrying about that stuff. It's part of the fight games. This happens. If you see that headbutt, if you see the punches and the headbutt barely looks like it touches him. I didn't know about this headbutt at all. After the fight.
Because it looks like you are placing your head under his chin.
Yeah.
Like we
it was
train.
definitely not the headbutt.
Yeah.
It was 100% a strike that caught him on the eye. And if it was a headbutt, why didn't he complain about it in the fight?
Yeah.
Doesn't help you worry about it after the fight.
Yeah.
And so when he started bleeding and he started touching his eye, and I could see the blood is going into his eye, I just thought, "Oh, great. Now at least we both have one eye screwed up." But I felt great. I really felt so good. And then in the fifth round, I felt it was great. He came back in that fifth round at the end. So people say he definitely won the fifth. I don't think he did win that fifth round. And if you go in the fifth round, maybe in the last 30 seconds, he started to turn it up.
Yeah.
He missed most of those shots. He landed one overhand not really hard, but he landed it flush. And that was the story of that 5th round for me. He stopped a takedown in the 5th. And I think that was the only round I didn't get a takedown, but I did get 2 takedowns in the 4th.
Yeah.
So I think in that 5th round was the round where people say he won the round. I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Because I felt I was controlling the fight the whole round up until maybe the last minute, maybe 30 seconds in. But great fight all around. And, you know, Sean's whole show after the fight, you know, he came to me as a gentleman and he said, you won that fight. And I said, I have to agree with you. I think I won that fight too. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a war. We promised a war and we gave them a war.
Yeah.
And I was pretty certain I won that fight. I got very nervous when they said it was a split decision because I didn't have it as a split.
Yes.
But, you know, I got the belt. Nonetheless, and here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. So I'm happy. You know, of course, I have respect for the guy. He came to me after when we were in the doctor's medical rooms, and you know, he was a gentleman about it. Obviously, on social media, you say stuff because you want another shot. You say stuff because who doesn't want another shot?
Of course.
So,
and we've also met him at the PI. Like he's not a
bad dude.
He's not a bad dude.
No.
You know. So
I do think he's a madman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
definitely.
there something in the fight that really surprised you? Something that he brought to the table that you almost didn't expect? Because his ability to take punches was quite.
His ability to take punches.
Like, I've seen you
I
drop.
think if he came at me more, I think I knocked him out. I knock him out every single time.
Yeah.
He was fighting. I had to push hard to get that fight the way it was. Because if I was waiting for him, it would have been a 1-2 fight. Wouldn't have gotten any. We wouldn't have been tired. But that's a point style fight.
Yeah.
That's actually the fight he tried to make it, in my opinion, because he was literally on the back foot waiting for me to come in. So he didn't come forward and just fought me. At the end he did, but so I think what surprised me was him not pushing forward. And also what surprised me was taking him down wasn't hard. It wasn't hard taking Sean down. Our game plan for this fight wasn't to necessarily keep him on the ground and
not use the takedown.
Not use the takedown. Get the takedown, get the points. Obviously try and get some control for to make sure we edge out the round.
Yeah.
But he was really good at getting back to his feet. He wasn't strong. He wasn't a strong guy. I could take him down every time I had his hips. Even if I just had him in the clinch, I could feel I was a lot stronger physically than him. But he has a very, very good technique to get his feet back under him. And he did that very well.
Yeah.
So, that was one thing that surprised me. And obviously that jab, how he's able to change the jab into almost a small left hook, that was very impressive too. I knew I had to watch out for it. And I promise he's the first guy I ever fought with. You know, Sean Strickland is not a hard puncher, but he has a harder jab than he throws his cross. If I was him, I would have just jabbed. Because every time his cross was nothing.
Yeah.
But his jab, even when he turned it into a small left hook, that was pretty impressive. So that was, I have to say, the way he was able to, every time I got him down, get his feet back under him, that was something that surprised me. And also, of course, the educated left hand.
Yeah. Because I think when they started reading the scores, I was like, maybe it's my bias, maybe it's my uneducatedness, but I was like, you just became world champion. It wasn't even close. For me personally, it wasn't even close.
It was a close, hard fight, but at the end of the day, you have to judge it round by round and round by round. I feel I won 4 of those
If
rounds.
it's a 10-9 must score, then it's like, definitely. And it was also awesome to see guys like Demetrius Johnson. I don't know if you saw his video, but like he actually he summarized the fight very well. It's like you showed the judges more variety. You showed judges more in the sense of a title fight, what you can expect from landing takedowns, landing kicks, not just going backwards and throwing a jab. Yeah. So that was also cool. But I wanted to ask you, because we've actually laughed about this quite a lot. Uncle Chael Sonnen almost never has your back. But after this fight, he was like, listen, I can't even give Strickland 1 round. Yeah. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, watching the fight, I'm very critical and I'm very honest about this. So if I have to be, devil's advocate, I would say, fine, let's give him round 5 and round 1. That's still just 2 rounds.
Yeah.
There is no way you won round 2, 3, or 4. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So Uncle Chael backing me. I mean, I feel like me and Uncle Chael have a love-hate relationship. He says stuff sometimes. And I go, "Are you crazy? What are you saying?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You say stupid stuff. Like that's a stupid thing to say." And he said, "Why does Dricus say I'm stupid?" And I'm not. I didn't say you were stupid. I said you said some stupid stuff, like me faking an injury.
Yeah.
And but sometimes I think he says good, cool stuff. So and then he goes and he says he's actually a fan. Listen, I'm a fan of Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
Just he has said some stupid stuff in the past, and he has said some extremely clever stuff as well. But I mean, that's a fight game, Chael, saying that, I gotta appreciate that. I gotta appreciate that. And Uncle Chael, if you ever see this, I am a fan, and thank you for the support, and I guess thank you for the criticism sometimes.
I too am a fan, Uncle Chael. Now after winning the title, you got time to celebrate in Canada. After every win, your life changes drastically. But after a world title win, I can think it's on a different level. Coming back home, like how much has that changed? Like I think you have a lot of obligations, you have a lot of a lot of boxes to tick. How much has that changed?
That has changed a lot. So since last week, I've been able to be back in the gym 100%, which it felt, I was so busy the whole time, doing media, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of responsibility, sharing this win with the country, going around with a belt tour. But my job is always to be a professional fighter, and not being able to train, I'm so sick and tired of sitting on a bicycle, I can tell you that much. Because I couldn't run with this foot.
Yeah.
Couldn't even move around. You can't even do boxing because, this foot needs to rest. It's fractured foot, you need to rest it. It's not going to heal.
Yeah.
So since last week, I was able to start moving on the mat, and this week I can start, boxing, doing some drills, and within the next week or so, I'll be able to start kicking again. Then we almost at 7 weeks. So yeah, I mean, it feels great. I felt so useless not being able to train properly because even though I'm busy the whole time and I'm working, it's a lot of work, making sure you get to all these media obligations, making sure you get to these interviews because the world needs to know it's part of the job.
Yeah.
But not being able to train full speed and just sitting on a bicycle, that is terrible.
Especially if it's like a sad bicycle at a hotel somewhere, because people started like camping outside your house.
That did start happening, yes.
So you had to actually move.
Yeah, I moved away and found a new place to live because it was hectic. But listen, at the end of the day, I do appreciate all of that because that just shows you the amount of support and the excitement of the country. Sharing this incredible moment and celebrating it with me, and it means the world to me because at the end of the day, we have to realize without these fans, we are nothing. We don't have a sport.
Yeah, definitely. Now, obviously, there was massive speculation about what's going to happen with UFC 300.
Yes.
And are you going to be a part of it? And are you going to be facing Izzy? So how did that go? Like, was that an option? Was that something you guys considered? Obviously, you had the foot that was for realsies. It was broken. It was fractured. So
I have the scans.
the scan and the proof. But that's also something like you don't necessarily have to disclose that. You can disclose it to the UFC. You don't have to disclose it to the public. Yes. But that's going after the fight, knowing that UFC 300 is coming up, but also having the possibility of UFC Africa happening. What was the thought process? What was the conversation between you and the UFC and your team? Our team.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, after the fight, I knew UFC 300 would be a possibility before going into this fight. But I'm also just like with the Whittaker fight, I say, cool. I'm open to the idea of turning around quick. I have no problem.
Yeah.
If it is physically possible.
Yeah.
And the same with when Strickland stepped up to fight Adesanya. I said, guys, once again, I was injured going into the Whittaker fight. I could not, and we have the scans to prove it, we have everything. I can't turn around in 9 weeks. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And look how it worked out perfectly because that's the way the world works.
Yeah.
Put in the work and I took every opportunity I could. Whether I was injured or not, I took every opportunity from number 10 to number 5 to number 1.
Yeah.
And then taking my title shot when I got it. So obviously with the conversations of 300, that would have been a massive fight, me and Izzy. And it was on the table, 100%. But one thing people don't realize is why would I go and start a camp once again injured
Yeah.
if I am the champion? Taking risks is one thing. I have been taking risks a lot.
Yeah.
But why would I risk? I'm the champion now. And I can fight when I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think Izzy misjudges himself as still being a champion, and he's not.
Yeah.
You will fight when you get the opportunity. You don't dictate when I fight.
Yeah. So yeah, because that was also interesting to see. There was obviously massive hype.
Of course. And listen, I would have loved. That's why I tell people, why wouldn't I want to fight? Do you know what the payday would look like? Do you know how the hype? That's going to go down history of one of the biggest events ever, UFC 200. Of course, I want to be a part of that. But there's one thing that matters to me more than fighting on a massive card, like 300, and that is being able to defend my title.
Yeah.
And doing it in the spectacular fashion. Yeah, I can take him down and hold him down if I want to. And he can't stop that. I can do that for 5 rounds. I don't want to fight like that. That's not the way I fight. I entertain people. That's why I have so many performance bonuses.
Yeah.
Because with yourself, the way we train, the way we fight, I want to go out there and give a performance. I don't want to win.
Yes.
I want to win spectacularly. And that was the one thing with the UFC 300 saying, guys, of course I want to be part of this, but I'm injured. I can't train. I started training on my feet, started boxing last week. That fight's 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So that is, unfortunately, and I would have loved
juice
to
ain't
whip
worth the squeeze.
I would have loved to whip his ass
Yeah.
at UFC 300, but unfortunately that's not the case.
Yeah. So doesn't make. So he had an interview with Theo Vaughn, and he said he got summoned for UFC 300, and he said our camp didn't want it. Is that frustrating to hear? Just that, like that one side of the story, just being as easy as no, he got summoned and we didn't want it.
Oh, poor Izzy. Hey, you don't have a title, so you get summoned when you get summoned. That's how it works. No, it doesn't bother me that he has there's only one side to the story, because I don't care. I don't care. The fight's gonna happen. He's been a big mouth about coming to South Africa and dragging carcasses, and I mean that's what he said.
Yeah.
So be a man of your word. Step up, do it. Let's make UFC Africa. Let's make that happen. Obviously, that is what I would love in an ideal situation. Fighting Israel Adesanya on African and South African soil.
Yeah.
Hosting that event and making history for Africa, for the UFC, for myself, and for him. That's his heritage. He was born in Africa. So let's make the history. Talk about something bigger than yourself. That is something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
So, for me, if they want to do it this year, I know Dana said, if Dricus becomes champion, we will be looking at doing an event in South Africa. That's what they want to do. If we can make that happen in this year, I will wait for that fight, because that is the fight to make.
That is a legacy fight.
That is a legacy fight.
Yeah.
For both of us. And for Izzy as well. Because listen, one thing, we are not friends, but one thing I can't take away from Israel Adesanya, he is one of the greatest middleweights to ever do this. And I want to defend my belt against him. I don't want to fight anybody else.
Yeah.
Because I want to fight the next best guy. I want to fight and beat Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Because, regardless of what I think of him on a personal level, as a fighter, there's no way you can disrespect him. He is truly good. But, for the both of us, I think it would mean the world to do this in Africa and South Africa. He claimed he'll drag my carcass around South Africa. So let's make that happen. If it's a possibility in this year, that is the only thing that will make me wait.
Yeah.
Up until, let's say, if you have to wait to November, December, whatever the case may be, if they take that much time to make it happen. But if it's not a possibility this year, I want to fight 2 more times this year.
Okay. If that does not happen, do you do the rematch, or do you face Izzy somewhere else? Or do you like both? Are you a man like you want your slice of bread spread on both sides?
Yeah.
Right?
I have to tell you, honestly, everybody's asking that, and I honestly don't care. For me, I think as a world champion, you need to fight everybody. Of course, there's a
because there was also a leak. So if it's now true or not, there was like ticket released early for an arena in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, where it was Khamzat against Izzy. Now, if that is the case,
that's a very interesting fight.
So if that is the case, then do you do the rematch in the meantime? Or what happens then? What goes through your brain when you see like stuff like that being released early?
So, in the sense, obviously for me personally, wanting to fight Izzy, that's the fight people want to see. For me, that would be great. I would love to fight Izzy. But in all fairness, him and Khamzat fighting each other makes a lot of sense because I understand Izzy getting an immediate rematch with Alex Pereira. He was a reign for long. But then, he's 2-1 in his last 3 outings.
Yeah.
So that, losing your belt, winning it back, then losing it again doesn't justify a rematch immediately for a title. But I mean, that's logistically. But if the people want to see it, this is a showbiz, so that's what's gonna happen. But him and Khamzat fighting each other makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For a number 1 contender spot. And I don't mind the rematch at all. I think the rematch will be a lot easier than the original fight.
I still remember calling coach the day after the fight. And I think like the first thing after, obviously, congratulations, thank you, Cam. And then the first thing he said after that, in the rematch, we're finishing within 3 rounds. Like coach is already thinking of, okay, if that fight is happening next,
what
we
do we
finish
do next?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think so. And of course, Robert Whittaker is putting his hand up again. I honestly think Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland fight would be amazing. Sean Strickland did say Whittaker is only a blitz fighter. Yeah. And I do think Strickland possesses a lot of problems for a guy like Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
I do think he possesses the kind of style, if he can walk Whittaker down, because he's a lot bigger than Whittaker. That's one thing. Whittaker is small at middleweight, but he just moves so good.
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw him against one of the bigger middleweights in Paulo Costa.
What did you think of that fight?
I thought it was incredible. I thought Whittaker showed that his chin is not broken. I didn't take his chin. He's still there. I mean, he took that heel kick and he fought back. It was a great fight. Costa looked very good in that fight. Yeah. I was surprised. He's been off for long, so I was surprised how good he looked. But Whittaker made some cool adjustments in his style. So that's Whittaker. That just shows you he is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think
and he definitely won that fight. There's not even a question.
By far. Yeah, no, his cage control in that fight was very good. He got rocked, and we were still at an Airbnb in Bloemfontein because we were at a wedding, and I was like shouting there next to these house owners because I really wanted Bobby Knuckles to win as well, because I do think he's still one of those guys that is. It's very easy for fans to say, "Oh no, he's washed."
Yeah.
So it's like, he's washed. That's why
he's not washed.
He's not washed. So he showed a lot in that fight, and I do think the Strickland fight makes a lot of sense. If you have to gun against the head, who wins that fight?
That depends. If they do a fight night headline, which I think they will, I think over 5 rounds. Whittaker has shown over 5 rounds, obviously with the Yaramiro saga.
Yeah.
Well, he has had a lot of 5-rounders, but I do believe in a 5-round fight, Strickland, from the second round onwards.
Yeah.
I think 3, 4, and 5, Strickland gets him.
Yeah.
Purely because Strickland can walk him down and make him tired because of the size and the awkwardness. But I do think in a 3-round fight, Bobby Knuckles edges it out. I think he does. I think he can catch Strickland with his blitzes. And I think that
fight is not going to the ground.
That fight is probably not going to the ground. Whittaker has the ability to take him down for sure. Whittaker has very good entries. I just don't think he has the ability to keep him there.
Yeah.
Because once again of the size. I mean, I'm much, much bigger than Whittaker. And Sean Strickland, like I said, is really good at getting up. So I do think in a 3-round fight, I'm edging Robert Whittaker. In a 5-rounder, that's where if it goes past round 3, past the halfway mark of the fight, I start leaning towards Sean Strickland. But, very hard fight to call. That is a very interesting fight.
Awesome.
That's the 2 complete opposite styles.
Yeah. So you mentioned you are much bigger than Robert Whittaker. And also, I think a lot of people, I think that's like a general consensus. Like, Stillnox is massive for middleweight. Yeah. Is it in the plans to go to light heavy?
Yeah, eventually. I do think, I saw a tweet, somebody said they think to qualify for a double title, you need to defend your belt 3 times. I don't hate that idea.
Okay. Very interesting.
Obviously, how Conor did it, it made a lot of sense because he was just on fire. He just cleared out the whole division. It made sense.
Yeah.
He just knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds, and it was obviously the right thing to do. He absolutely destroyed Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
So, but now everybody wants to be a double champ. I understand that. I want to be a double champ.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a double champ. But I am willing to say, okay, if there's people left to fight, if Whittaker just keeps on beating everybody, who am I going to fight?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know,
so you almost need to first take care of your division.
yes,
before.
and that's 100% realistic for me.
Yeah.
I'm not gunning now to say I want to move up to light heavyweight after meeting Izzy. No. I believe it's fair to say defend your belt 3 times because that's very convincing in taking care of your division and then go up to light heavy. And I'm willing to make that happen. You know, so for me going up, I know I'm not going to give up a lot of size. Maybe a little bit of height and reach in terms of the light heavyweights, but when it comes to pure size, I don't give up a lot.
Yeah. Now, seeing the announcement for UFC 300, first impressions, who do you like in that fight?
Wow, that's an incredible fight.
Yeah.
That's a good fight. You have both strikers, but you have one guy who's such a clinical striker, and then you have this guy that he just fires and he throws bombs.
Yeah.
Listen, if Jamal Hill knocks out Alex Pereira, I will not be surprised. We've seen Alex Pereira get hurt a lot, but you know, I don't think Jamal Hill needs to make it a dogfight. He needs to, because if he's going to stand in range and get kicked the whole time, Alex Pereira is just going to eat his legs, and then it's over. You know, once he's compromised that leg, especially if you're a guy who relies on that pure strength, if your front leg is compromised, it takes away all that power.
Yeah.
So I need a little bit more time on that, but I do think once again in a fight where it's a clinical fight, this is going to be Alex Pereira's fight. But in a fight where Jamal Hill comes out, guns blazing,
makes it chaotic.
That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Come in and throw those bombs.
Yeah.
And check those kicks.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Now, after the win, you guys stayed for a little bit in Canada as well. How are you celebrating? What is because we saw you chug beers against Australians.
They didn't have a chance.
so what's the focus? Is it coming back as quickly as possible, spending time with the family? Is it traveling a little bit?
Yeah, so for me, what was important, obviously I wanted to go up north and do some skiing, but that's hard with a broken foot. So I guess that wasn't the move. I would have stayed maybe a week to enjoy Canada a little because the food's amazing there. But you know, after that fight, you know, my body was beat, and I wanted to rest. I wanted to come home and rest. My whole family was there, so that was incredible. Spending time having them there, and the first 2 days after the fight, I think I left on the Tuesday, the Sunday and the Monday. Obviously, spending time with them every morning, and then we had some beers every time. And the whole time. Yeah. With every meal. I had so many friends and family. You know, Graham Carr from UFC were there. My brothers were there. Most of my friends were there. We were 50 strong South Africans just in my circle. It was incredible. Yeah. The teammates that were there, and we, of course, we celebrated. And then we came home. I came home to an incredible welcome at the airport. I mean, I almost started to cry. It was insane. Being there and seeing the amount of support, the amount of people that were there. And Dricus Du Plessis, I was sitting after that 28-hour flight and I was sick. I think I might have had I don't know. It wasn't COVID or something. I don't know. I was just sick, you know. Yeah. Always after a fight when you get that down. Yeah. I came off that plane and I was so tired after that. It was 28 hours of traveling from Canada back. Yeah. The layover was crazy. And I got out, obviously having that adrenaline after the welcoming. Then we had interviews. We arrived at 7 a.m. in the morning and I only got home at 4 p.m. after interviews and media. And it was incredible. But Dricus looked at me because he was with me in these interviews and he said, "You look tired." And I said, "I am so beat. But I knew this is the time this week, I need to, you know." And after the media stuff, I could just feel not being myself and being able to talk with that energy. And I said to him, "No, I need rest. And he said he's flying to Jacobs Bay. I mean, Jacobs Bay, there's maybe like 50 people living there in total.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful place. And
Not anymore. Now everyone's going to camp out there until you go on holiday
yeah,
again.
what's happening?
Yeah.
And he said, listen, there's not a lot of people there. Come just for a couple of days, just for 2 days. And me and Fasti went for, I said, okay, just 2 days, just to get away from everyone.
Yeah.
And I arrived there the evening at 7. I went to go sit on the couch with him and his wife. And I just lied back on the couch. And I woke up that night the morning at 3 a.m. on the couch. I just slept, went up to my bed, slept, woke up the next morning at maybe 11.
Yeah, you know.
Wake up, eat, have a beer, go back. I go sit on the couch maybe at 2,
Yeah.
sleep, wake up the next morning on the couch. For 2 days, I didn't even eat. I think I lost weight. I didn't even eat. I had one meal, one beer, and I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Because obviously I thought, okay, now I'm going to, just have a little holiday. Body wasn't having that. I was just sleeping for 2 days straight. I was, that camp took a lot out of me because everything was given in that camp.
Yeah.
And then after 2 days, I haven't even seen, we were living on the beach. I haven't even stepped foot on the beach.
Yeah.
I was just in my room, fridge.
Fridge.
And after the second day, I said to Fasti, I said, are you guys staying? Because then I had to come to Cape Town for the Bell tour 3 days later. And I said, I'm not going back home. And those 3 days, then my body was rested.
Yeah.
And then I felt better. I wasn't so sick anymore. And then I enjoyed it. I was on the beach every day,
Yeah.
Enjoying it, getting into riding with my screwed up foot, riding on the, what do you call this?
Segway.
The Segway. And
Yeah, because your phone broke, right?
yeah, I broke my phone in the Segway. It was actually a
Was
blessing.
that a drinking and Segway?
No, luckily not. Luckily not. I wish that was the case because then I had something to blame. Me and Fasti went to breakfast.
Yeah.
We had some waffles, and on our way back, I said, "Oh, I'm getting good at this."
So for people that don't know, it's like that full blart mall cop.
No, it doesn't have any of that.
It's the
lying
mall-
forward.
the
That's
mall
exactly
cop
what happened. As I was going forward, and it goes like 40 k's an hour. That thing can go.
Okay.
And I was leaning forward, and I said, "Damn, this thing can go." And I was looking at Fasti, and I said, "Want to race?" And he raced, and on full speed, I just realized I don't have that much core strength because I was lying 100% forward, and there was no going back. And I just started running, but I can't run 40 k's an hour. And I bailed so hard because, my foot can't even run. I just went on the tarmac. My clothes were torn. I had no skin. I had cheese.
And you fell on the side of the phone.
And I had that phone for like 2 weeks. Luckily, thank you, Vodacom, for sorting out and giving me a new phone.
Okay, good.
It's sorted now.
That's awesome. That's just open-ended question, but what are you the most excited for the year, for 2024?
Right now, for your next fight. That is, I can't wait.
Thank you.
I honestly believe, from friend to year-long friend, mentor, and started out as a coach, ended up as family. That loss of yours was the best thing to ever happen to you. I can see a fire in you that was lit. I saw you today in training again. And I just thought, oh shit, this guy. I'm so happy you're not my weight. But you probably wouldn't be able to move that way if you was my weight.
Yeah,
but
I'm also very happy you're not my way.
no, it's one of the best things because we spoke about this right after that fight, and I said one thing you do 100% is you've never missed a stone.
Yeah,
you do the work perfectly, 100%. You are always there. You're one of the most dedicated athletes I've ever met. But once you get used to the feeling of winning, sometimes we forget what it feels like or what it needs to feel like. And we always take that feeling of winning for granted.
100%.
And that is almost like saying you don't know what you love until it's gone.
Yeah.
And you needed to feel that. And now you know, I never want to feel like that again. And I can see it when you train. There's a difference in showing up and showing up.
Yeah.
And even if you go through the paces, when you get into that ring, no matter how hard you train, maybe your opponent trained just as hard, then it's about the guy who's willing to die in there, the guy who really wants it.
Yeah.
And yes, you always wanted it, but I feel like on the way, you haven't lost ever, ever, since ever. And, I made that joke saying, your first loss was on a 3-hard win streak in the UFC at the age of 22.
Yeah.
My first loss was in Durban.
Yeah.
At the ICC.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad 4-0 in the EFC. So you have no idea that loss doesn't mean anything except the lesson that you got from it. And I'm very excited to see how you bounce back. And I think after this fight, the people are going to be like, oh, shit, the man is ready. So I'm very excited for that. And then, of course, hearing about what's next for me, hearing about...
because the lines are open, but nothing has been said.
Yes, the lines are open. And, of course, finding out what's... being back in the gym, being able to throw, it's amazing. It's amazing. I can't wait to kick people again. But, just being able to throw punches and work and draw, that's my life. It's what I... No matter what I do, no matter how much money I make outside of fighting, no matter what business I do, no matter, it's incredible. But I always feel like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I want to be training. That's what I do. It's just those endorphins. I'm addicted to it, have been for many, many years. And it's the greatest thing in the world to do. So, firstly, I'm excited for tomorrow morning, getting back on the mats. That's the first thing that excites me. I believe you need to look forward to something every day. Next, even closer than that, my new Merg outside. I'm looking forward to giving that a go. Giving that boy here a Raw. But, and then, of course, we have Nkazimulu, Zulu, and them, our teammates fighting on Thursday. Him for another belt. We have Nerek Simus' diamond that needs to be discovered. I'm looking forward to seeing them perform. And, of course, seeing...
Demart is also
seeing
fighting.
Demart fighting. He's fighting at Aries. Seeing him fight. And then you guys are leaving on Friday. And I'll be leaving on the 20th for your fight. So I can't wait and, meet with Hunter Dana if possible and see what's next. See what's next. That's what's exciting for me. Getting back into that fighter feel. Getting back and defending this belt like nobody's ever seen a defense before. They think when I think about it, I just love the fact how people go and say, and it's awesome because this was a massive achievement. They said, you've reached your goal. And I just go, you are so wrong in saying that. I reached a goal. I reached
this is just
a
the
step
surface
closer.
level.
This is a very important step. You can't be the GOAT. You can't be the greatest ever without a title. And this was a step in the right direction. And now the run starts. Now it's about showing what type of champion. I am a champion now. But now I'll show you what kind of champion I am. And I can't wait to do that. It's going to be incredible.
That's awesome. And I'm so excited to see what the year has for you as well. Hopefully we get to see that first title defense on
at home. We got to make that happen. We have to make that happen.
And after this fight, depending on what negotiations are being said, what dates are being thrown around, we're going to have to keep our schedules open for later in the year because hopefully it happens then.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being in studio. I know you are, after the president, probably the busiest man on earth at this moment. So thank you for being in studio. Thank you for always having our backs. Thank you for setting the great example that you do at Team CIT. And
thanks for having me.
This is Still Knox is alive and well.
Alive and well. Very well.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not yet, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this episode as well and leave your comments down below. Thank you guys so much. Cheers.